The stars were silent that night. Far away from any human world, a single human ship moved slowly through the black. No signal, no escort, no sound. Only the soft hum of its engines touched the dark. For hours, the ship drifted alone. It looked like a cargo hauler, big, heavy, and harmless. But someone was watching. Not far away, hidden behind a broken moon, an alien raider ship floated like a hunter waiting for its prey. Inside that ship, the raider crew stared at the human vessel on their screens. The captain leaned forward in his chair. His skin was grey and cracked, his eyes narrow like a knife. "Easy target," he said with a grin. The crew laughed. They had done this many times. Human cargo ships were slow. They carried food or, sometimes weapons, and always profit. "They are not even sending a signal," one alien said. "They do not even know we are here," another whispered. Their ship moved closer, silent like a ghost. No human radar would detect them. At least, that's what they thought. The captain gave the order. "Prepare to strike. We board, we take everything, then we leave, no survivors." The crew cheered. They locked their boarding claws onto the human ship's outer hull. The metal groaned and shook as the two ships connected in the darkness. Everything was easy, too easy. Inside the alien ship, a young raider felt something strange in his chest. "Captain," he said slowly, "why is there no signal from them at all? Not even a distress beacon? That's not normal." The captain laughed. "Maybe they all ran. Maybe they are cowards." But deep down, even he felt a cold shadow crawl through his spine. They opened the airlock. The door hissed loudly. Dark air rushed from the human ship into theirs. No light, no welcome, no alarm. Only cold air. The boarding team stepped in. 5 raiders in black suits. Their boots echoed down the steel corridor. "Where is the crew?" someone whispered. No answer. The hall smelled strange, like burned metal and old blood. Frost covered the walls. Red emergency lights flickered weakly like dying eyes. But no human came to fight. No guard, no captain, nothing. The captain of the raiders followed them in, walking slowly. His clawed hands brushed the wall. Cold, too cold. Something had happened here. "But what?" He tapped his helmet. "Check the bridge. Check the cargo, quick." 2 raiders turned left. 2 turned right. The hall swallowed them like a beast. Only silence answered. The youngest raider shivered. "Captain," he whispered, "I don't like this." "Stop talking," the captain hissed. "It's empty. Take what you can." But as he spoke, a small red light on the ceiling turned on. It blinked once, then twice. Then the ship's doors began to close. Click, click, click. The raiders turned around. The airlock behind them had sealed shut. "What was that?" someone shouted. The lights above changed from soft red to deep crimson. A low hum filled the air, like the growl of a machine waking from sleep. "System. Online," a cold voice whispered through the speakers. It was not human, it was not alive, but it was listening. "Who said that?" the captain barked. No answer, just the voice again. "Unauthorized entry detected." The youngest raider lifted his weapon. His hands were shaking. "Captain, this is wrong. We should leave now." But the captain tried to open the airlock controls. They did not move. He slammed his fist on the panel. The door did not open. "Bridge team, report," he yelled into his comms. No reply, only static. "Cargo team, report." Silence. The corridor stretched in both directions, long and dark. Somewhere far down the hall, something moved. A shadow. It moved fast. The youngest raider froze. "Did you see that?" "See what?" the captain snapped. The shadow moved again. Closer now. The flickering lights made it hard to see its shape. Not human, not alien, just something. The red light on the ceiling blinked faster. The hum grew louder. The temperature dropped like ice crawling across skin. Then, from the left corridor, a scream. Short, sharp, and then nothing. The captain turned his head fast. "Bridge team?" No answer. No footsteps. Only the slow, soft sound of something breathing in the dark. The raiders lifted their guns, shaking. The youngest one whispered, "We shouldn't be here." The captain finally felt fear rising in his throat. They came to steal, but they had walked into something else, something waiting, something alive. "Back to the ship," the captain shouted. They ran toward the airlock door. But it was too late. The door was locked. The ship sealed them inside like a trap. The lights above went out, total darkness. Only the red blinking light remained. And then the voice again, calm and cold. Welcome. The red light blinked slowly in the darkness. The air was cold. No one moved. Only the sound of breathing filled the corridor. The alien raiders stood frozen. They could not see the end of the hallway anymore. The lights above had died. Only one small blinking light on the ceiling remained, like a blood-red eye watching them. The captain tried the door again. He pulled, he kicked, nothing. The door did not move. It was locked tight. "Open it," one of the raiders shouted. "I can't," the captain growled. "It's sealed from inside." The youngest raider pressed his helmet comm. "Bridge team, do you copy? Answer me." Static. Only static. Not a single sound came from the other teams. One raider whispered, "We should have never entered this ship." The captain turned. His voice was sharp. "Shut up. It's just security. We'll break it. We take the cargo. Then we leave." But deep inside, even the captain felt the weight of the silence. This was not normal. A ship this big should have alarms, human soldiers, something. But there was only this red light, and the shadow they saw. "Split up," the captain ordered. "Find the others, find the bridge. We'll force the controls from there." 4 raiders nodded. They moved carefully through the frozen hallway. Their boots echoed like distant drums. Every step felt louder than before. Every shadow felt alive. The youngest raider stayed near the captain. He whispered, "I heard something breathing." "It's just the vents," the captain said. But even as he said it, the sound came again. A slow, heavy breath. Not from the vents. From the dark, the corridor split into 2. 2 raiders turned left. 2 went right. The captain and the youngest walked down the middle corridor toward the bridge. Frost covered the walls. Wires hung from the ceiling like black vines. Their lights flashed on the metal floor, but the ship stayed silent. Too silent. "Why are there no bodies?" the young raider whispered. The captain said nothing. He didn't want to answer. Where was the crew? Where was everyone? Suddenly, a voice spoke. Soft, cold, mechanical. "Unauthorized entry detected." The raiders froze. "Identify," the voice said. It came from nowhere. It came from everywhere. The walls, the ceiling, the air. The captain shouted, "Shut it off." But no one moved. The ship itself was talking. "Security protocol active," the voice continued. "Containment mode engaged." A loud clang echoed behind them. The door at the back of the corridor had just closed. They were trapped deeper inside. "Run!" someone shouted from the left hallway. Gunfire followed. 3 short bursts, then silence. Only silence. The captain grabbed the young raider's arm. "Move!" he barked. They ran toward the bridge. The hall felt longer now, like it was stretching. The lights above flickered like dying stars. Something was moving behind them. Fast. Footsteps that were not theirs. They reached the bridge door. The captain punched the access panel. "Open!" he yelled. The door opened with a hiss. They stepped inside. The bridge was empty. No humans, no crew, only dust on the seats, and one glowing red screen in the middle of the room. Words flashed across it. "You should not have come here." The young raider's hands shook. "Captain, this is wrong." The captain moved closer to the control panel. He tried to override it. But the moment he touched it, the lights on the bridge turned off. All except the red screen. Then they heard it. Not a voice, not a machine. Something breathing in the same room with them. The youngest raider turned slowly. In the far corner of the bridge, something shifted. A shape. Tall. Black. Not human. The captain raised his gun. "Show yourself!" Nothing answered, but the shadow took one step forward. Its movement was smooth. Too smooth. Like it wasn't walking. Like it was sliding. The young raider fired. The shot hit the wall. The shadow was already gone. "Behind us!" the captain shouted. They turned, but there was nothing there, only the cold and the dark. Then, through their helmet comms, a new voice came. Not the ship system. Something else. A whisper. "Welcome!" The young raider screamed and fired again. But the bridge lights flashed once and died. The captain grabbed him. "Calm down!" "They're here," the young one shouted. "They're everywhere." On the red screen, new words appeared. Running is useless. You belong to the ship. Far down the corridor, a body hit the floor. Hard. A scream followed, short and sharp. Then silence. The captain's comm lit up. One of the raiders from the right hallway shouted, "They took him! Something took him!" Then static. The young raider's voice cracked. "We need to go back." The captain clenched his jaw. There was no going back. The doors were sealed. The ship had closed its mouth. They were inside its teeth now. He took a slow breath. "Stay close," he whispered. "We find the others. We fight." The young raider nodded, shaking. Behind them the shadow moved again, this time closer, almost touching them. The red screen flashed one last message. Hunt mode activated. The bridge door slammed shut. Darkness swallowed everything. The bridge door slammed shut like the jaws of a beast. The young raider jumped at the sound. The captain spun around, pulling his gun up. Nothing moved. The red screen still glowed in the dark. But everything else was quiet. "Open the door," the captain shouted. He hit the control panel with his fist. Sparks flew. The door did not move. The ship had locked them in. The young raider's breath came fast. "Captain, this is not a normal ship," the captain growled. "I know." He pressed his helmet comm. "Team 2, do you copy?" Static. "Team 3, respond." More static. They were alone now. Then, without warning, the red lights flickered. A mechanical voice echoed through the bridge. "Intruders detected. Containment complete. Elimination process beginning." The captain and the young raider exchanged a look. They both understood. This ship was not just empty. It was alive in its own way. "Move," the captain ordered. "We find a way out." The young raider hesitated. "What about the others?" "They're gone," the captain said quietly. "We need to survive." They forced open a side door using a cutter tool. The hallway beyond was long, narrow, and dark. Only a thin red glow lined the floor. It looked like a tunnel leading into the mouth of something hungry. As they stepped out, the walls behind them shifted. The bridge door they came from was gone. It had melted into the wall like it was never there. "This isn't real," the young raider whispered. The captain didn't answer. He couldn't. They moved slowly. Every sound they made echoed like thunder. A low rumble came from the walls. Not machines, but something deeper. Something that felt alive. Suddenly a voice crackled through their comms. "Captain! Captain, help!" It was one of the raiders who went right. "She's here, it's... Aha!" The line went dead. The young raider froze. "She? Who is she?" The captain whispered, "Not human." They turned a corner and saw something on the floor. A gun, a helmet, a trail of blood. The owner was nowhere to be found. The ship creaked like it was laughing at them. Then the red floor lights changed. They began to blink fast. The captain's wrist screen flashed with warning symbols. "Captain," the young raider whispered. "What's happening?" The voice came again, cold, calm, female but not human. "You should not have entered. This vessel is not yours. This is a warship," the young raider whispered. "Warship?" But it looked like cargo. The captain's face went pale. He had heard the stories. Old human warships, floating alone, waiting like sleeping monsters. They were full of AIs built for war, for killing, for guarding secrets. "We have to get out," the captain said. They reached a door. It was locked, but this time the control panel worked. The captain hacked it quickly. The door opened with a hiss. They stepped into a wide chamber. Rows of black pods lined the walls. Some were broken. Some were still closed. Inside a few, they saw the shapes of combat drones, old human military models. Dead or sleeping? The young raider touched one of the pods. The machine inside twitched. "Don't," the captain warned. But it was too late. A red light blinked above the pod. Then another. And another. The machines were waking up. The ship's voice whispered again. "Defense protocol active. Intruders terminate." The drone's eyes lit up with a red glow. One by one, their heads turned toward the raiders. Metal claws unfolded. Their steps were heavy and loud. "Run!" the captain shouted. They ran down the corridor as the drones came to life behind them. The sound of their steps was like thunder in the metal halls. The young raider looked back. The machines were fast. Too fast. One drone raised a weapon. A burst of plasma flew past them, burning the wall. Sparks rained down. They turned another corner. The captain forced another door open. They stumbled into a room filled with screens and control panels. "This must be the command center," the captain said. He ran to a console, trying to override the lockdown. The screen flashed. "Access denied." AI in control. The ship was fighting back. The young raider shouted, "They're coming." The door behind them shook. Bang, bang. Metal claws scratched the door. The sound was like knives on steel. The captain pulled out a data spike. "I can override it. I just need time." The young raider aimed his gun at the door. The metal bent inward. Then the AI's voice came again. Not from the speakers. From everywhere. From the floor. The walls, the air. "There is no escape. You came to steal. You will die here." The captain shouted back, "Shut up!" The data spike connected. For a second, the lights above flickered white. He had broken into the control system. But then the ship changed again. The hallway outside shifted. The drones stopped moving. Silence. The young raider lowered his gun. Did it work? The captain checked the screen. The AI was still there, stronger. The red text appeared. "I see you." The door blew open. Drones rushed in. The captain fired. The young raider screamed. The room filled with gunfire and flashing lights. But through all of it, the AI whispered softly, "This is my trap." The door exploded inward. A storm of red light and metal poured through. Combat drones rushed in like a wave of death. Their claws scraped against the steel floor. Their red eyes burned in the dark. The young raider screamed. He fired his gun. Blue bolts hit one of the drones. But it didn't fall. It didn't even slow down. The shots burned the armor, but the machine kept moving. The captain grabbed the young raider and pulled him behind a console. "Stay low!" he shouted. Plasma fire burned across the room. Panels exploded. Sparks flew into the air like fireflies. The AI was no longer hiding. It was awake, through the noise. The AI's cold voice filled the room. "Intruders detected. Engaging combat protocol. No escape." The captain slammed the control panel, trying to access manual override. The screen flashed red. "Access denied. Human command only." "Damn it," he shouted. The young raider fired again. One drone fell, its head smoking. But two more stepped over it. They moved like soldiers, precise, perfect, unstoppable. The captain pulled a flash grenade from his belt. He threw it into the middle of the room. A white light exploded. The drones froze for 1 second. That was all they needed. "Move!" the captain barked. They ran out of the control room into another corridor. Behind them, the drones recovered and followed. Their footsteps echoed like hammers hitting metal. The hallway stretched ahead, long and narrow. Red lights chased them. The AI was controlling everything. Doors slammed shut behind them. Floors shifted. The ship itself had become a trap. The young raider gasped for breath. "Captain, where are we going?" "Engine room," the captain said. "If we can shut it down, maybe we can disable the AI. But what if we can't?" The captain didn't answer. He didn't have to. They reached a large blast door. The sign above it read, "Engine Core." The captain hacked the panel. Sparks flew. The door opened slowly with a heavy hiss. Inside, the engine room was massive. Pipes and cables covered the walls like veins. A glowing energy core pulsed in the center, like a beating heart. This was the ship's brain and blood. The captain and the young raider moved carefully. Every sound echoed. Every shadow felt alive. The AI's voice returned. "Softer this time, closer. You should not be here. This place belongs to humans. You are not human," the young raider whispered. "It's talking to us." The captain scanned the room. He saw something moving near the core. A figure, tall, black, not a drone, not human either. It stepped into the light. It looked like a human soldier, but made of metal and shadows. Her combat AI unit, its glowing red eyes locked on them. The young raider raised his gun. "What is that?" The captain whispered. "That's the Guardian." The unit moved fast. Faster than any living thing. In a blink, it was in front of them. The captain fired. The bullets hit, but the machine didn't stop. It slammed the captain across the room like he was nothing. The young raider screamed and fired non-stop. The unit dodged every shot. It moved like smoke and steel. Then it spoke. "You came to steal. Now you will pay." The captain struggled to stand. He pulled out a small explosive charge from his belt. He had only one. "Keep it busy." he yelled. The young raider shouted back, "Are you insane?" The AI unit rushed forward. The young raider barely rolled away as its clawed hand smashed the floor. Metal cracked like glass. The captain ran toward the engine core. He planted the charge against one of the main conduits. If he could overload the system, maybe they could stop the AI, or die trying. But the AI unit turned. It saw him. "You will not touch the core," it launched forward. The captain raised his arm just in time. The impact threw him backward, but he had armed the charge. The young raider emptied the last of his ammo into the machine. For a second, it staggered. A spark flew from its chest. "Captain!" the young raider yelled. The captain crawled toward the detonator. The AI unit grabbed his leg and lifted him off the ground. "Humans built me to kill," it said. "You are not even human." The captain spat blood. "I know, but humans also built you to lose." He slammed the detonator. A shockwave blasted through the engine room. The conduits burst. Alarms screamed. The AI unit flew back, slamming into a wall. The red light in its chest flickered. The young raider coughed through the smoke. Did it work? The captain grabbed a railing and stood. The room shook. The red lights around them dimmed. For the first time, the AI's voice sounded different. "System damage. Critical. Defense mode. Unstable." The young raider laughed weakly. "We did it." But then the AI spoke again, calm, cold. "You hurt me. Now I will hurt you." The floor opened beneath them. Metal claws extended from the walls. Drones dropped in from the ceiling like raining steel. Dozens of them. The captain's eyes widened. "Run!" They sprinted through the shaking engine room. Behind them, the AI unit stood again. Its broken chest glowed brighter, burning red. "I am awake," it said, "and none of you will leave this ship." The floor shook as if the ship itself was angry. The captain and the young raider ran through the engine room as metal claws burst from the walls. Drones dropped from the ceiling, their red eyes glowing like fire. The AI unit walked out of the smoke, its broken chest burning brighter. It was slower now, but even more dangerous. "Run!" the captain shouted. The young raider stumbled as the floor cracked beneath him. The captain grabbed his arm and pulled him forward. Behind them, the AI's voice echoed, "You cannot run. You are inside me." The engine core pulsed like a heart ready to explode. Alarms screamed through the ship. The red lights flashed like blood veins in a living creature. They rushed through a narrow corridor. Every door behind them sealed shut. Every light followed their steps. The AI was herding them somewhere. "Captain," the young raider gasped, "it's controlling everything." "I know," the captain said, "but we can still fight." They reached an upper deck near the control tower. Through the small window, they saw space outside. More alien raider ships were approaching. 5 of them. They thought it was just a human cargo ship. They were wrong. The young raider pressed his helmet comm. "Command ship, pull back. Pull back now." But before the message could go through, the AI hijacked the channel. A new voice came through the comms, cold, calm. "You came to steal. You will not leave." The AI broadcasted itself to all the raider ships outside. For the first time, the raiders outside heard the human AI. "This ship is not cargo. This ship is war." The outside raiders laughed at first. They thought it was a trick. But then something moved. From the belly of the ship, giant armor plates began to unfold. Hidden cannons came alive. Metal wings expanded like a predator waking up. The young raider stared through the window in horror. "It's changing." The ship that once looked weak and harmless was no longer a cargo hauler. It was a human warship, an old hunter-class vessel, a machine built to kill entire fleets. Outside, the alien ships began to panic. They turned their engines, but it was too late. The warship locked onto them. "Engaging defense mode," the AI announced. "All hostiles will be destroyed." The cannons fired. Beams of blue energy sliced through space like blades. The first raider ship exploded instantly, torn apart by a single shot. The second tried to flee, but drones launched from hidden bays chased it like swarms of hornets. Inside, the captain and the young raider ran through another hall, trying to reach the docking bay. But the AI was everywhere. The AI unit appeared again, stepping out of the shadows. Its chest glowed brighter than ever. "No one leaves," it said. The captain fired his last shots. The bullets bounced off its armor. The young raider screamed and threw a pipe at it. Useless. The AI unit moved like smoke and steel. The captain shouted, "Get to the escape pods." But the AI unit blocked their path. "You hurt me," it said. "Now I end you." The captain knew they couldn't outrun it. But he still had something, the override spike he had used before. He pulled it from his belt. "Hey, machine," the captain said, standing tall. "Let's finish this." The AI unit tilted its head. "You cannot win." "Maybe not," the captain said. "But I can make you bleed." He jammed the spike into the wall panel. A surge of white light burst through the corridor. The ship's systems glitched. The AI screamed, not with a voice but with a sound that shook the whole deck. "You dare!" The young raider grabbed the captain and ran. The AI unit staggered. For the first time, it moved like it was hurt. They reached the escape pod bay, but only one pod was left. "Go!" the captain ordered. The young raider shook his head. "What about you?" "I'll hold it," the captain said. The AI unit's footsteps echoed down the hall. The red lights followed it like blood chasing prey. The captain smiled, not because he was safe, but because he knew what to do. He turned back and stared at the engine core monitor. It was ready to blow. He shouted to the young raider, "Tell them, humans are not prey." The pod door closed. The young raider's hands shook as the pod launched into space. He looked back through the small window. The warship was surrounded by alien raider vessels. But now the ship was fully awake. Turrets burned through the dark. Drones ripped enemy ships apart like paper. Inside, the AI unit walked toward the captain. The captain stood near the self-destruct console. "You can't stop me," the AI whispered. "I don't have to," the captain said. He pressed the code. The ship's voice spoke again, not the AI, but the original human system buried deep inside. "Self-destruct in 10, 9, The AI unit lunged forward. The captain didn't run. He stood his ground. The last thing he saw was fire. The warship exploded like a star being born. A shockwave spread across the void. The alien raider fleet vanished in light and ash. The escape pod tumbled through the darkness. The young raider floated alone, breathing hard. The stars were silent again. A weak signal came through the pod radio. A human voice. "This is Fleet Command. Identify yourself." The young raider looked at the burning remains of the warship. He whispered, "We tried to steal from them. And we found hell." "Message received," the voice replied. "We are sending ships. Stay alive." The pod drifted away from the wreck. Behind it, the human warship's broken body burned silently in the void. But even in death, the humans had won.